And the screen sharing and sharing. Okay. So this is what we were discussing in the last class. Uh, the eigenvalues of Hermitian matrix are real. Okay. So we started the proof with the assumption that A is a Hermitian matrix. What is the property of Hermitian matrix? A power theta equal to A. And we want to show that any eigenvalue of the Hermitian matrix is real. So arbitrarily I am taking an eigenvalue, call it as lambda. So I am considering lambda is an eigenvalue of A. So if lambda is an eigenvalue of A, then there will be an eigenvector which is basically a non-zero vector satisfying this property Ax equal to lambda x. And after that I just took conjugate transpose on both sides, and using the property of conjugate transpose I arrived to this step. Okay, so we were just thinking how to proceed further, and some of you have given the proof, supplied the rest of the part. So what should we do now? So if you apply, you may call this as equation 1. Okay, you may call this as equation 2. Now what I can do, I can multiply both sides with x. If I multiply both sides with x, what do we get? X power theta Ax is equal to lambda bar x power theta into x. I post multiplied both sides with x. Okay, so you got an equation, you may call this as 3, and from equation 1 you have Ax equal to lambda x. So when I pre-multiply both sides with x power theta, then what do I get? Okay, so if I am pre-multiplying the first equation both sides with x power theta into Ax is equal to x power theta into lambda x, equal to lambda into x power theta into x. Okay, so now you got two different expressions for x power theta into x. X power theta into x is lambda bar x power theta x. X power theta into x is lambda into x power theta into x. So these two must be same. When LHS are same, RHS must be same. Okay, so if we consider this as fourth equation, okay, so 3 and 4 implies 3 and 4 implies, or some of you have given, instead of writing all these things, I think some of you gave a better way. I think they replaced Ax with lambda x, right? X power theta into what is Ax from 1? Ax is lambda x, right? So I think I can directly substitute that Ax equal to lambda x equal to lambda bar into x power theta x. So this implies that lambda into x power theta x is equals to, I think this is simple, lambda bar into x power theta x. Okay, so I don't need to name it. Okay, so then, okay, so now cancellation law to be applied. So before applying cancellation law, we have to make sure that the number that we are cancelling is non-zero. Because x is non-zero, x power theta into x is also will be non-zero. That you can verify by taking an example. For suppose x equal to x is not equal to 0. X not equal to 0 means what? At least one of the entry must be non-zero. Let us say 0. This is, let us say, I. Okay, 0. Then what will be x power theta? X power theta would be transpose it and then take conjugate it. So transpose 0 I 0, and conjugate of 0 is 0, conjugate of I is minus, and this is 0. This is x transpose whole bar or x bar transpose, both are same. Okay, so if I am multiplying x power theta into x, X is a 1/3 matrix. So X is a 3/1 matrix, and x power theta is a 1/3 matrix. So resultant has to be 1/1 matrix. So this is a 0 minus I 0 into 0 I 0 gives, see, 0 into 0, 0 into 0 0, minus I into I, minus I square. Okay, so this is 0 minus I square plus 0. So I square is minus 1, minus into minus plus 1. So this is 1. So as far as one dimension is concerned, okay, both we identify matrix of dimension 1 with the entry itself. So we both are equivalent. So in that case, you can consider this as a scalar. So because this is a non-zero, okay, so because x power theta into x is non-zero, I can apply cancellation law. I can say that lambda equal to lambda bar. Okay, therefore this implies that lambda is real. Okay, so we can apply cancellation law because x is non-zero. Okay, is this clear to all of you? In case if you are not the part of the WhatsApp discussion, I think now you can see. Are you with me? Right. So I'll write this in the next step. I'll write this in the next step. This implies that lambda is real. Since x non-zero, x power x not equal to 0 implies x power theta into x is also non-zero. That is the reason. Did you copy? Shall I proceed?
Yes,
Okay. Now write down the next property. Instead of Hermitian matrix, if I assume it is a skew Hermitian matrix, what could be the result? Can you guess? What could be the
Imagine
what could? Huh?
eigenvalues are imaginary.
The eigenvalues of a skew Hermitian matrix are, okay. So what I will do, I'll just copy and paste it. Okay. So now I will change this. Let us see what happens instead of assuming Hermitian, if we assume skew Hermitian. All of you write down this statement. Skew Hermitian. The eigenvalues of a skew Hermitian matrix are what? So what is that? We'll see after observing the proof. Okay. So this is to be filled. Okay. Don't write like this. This will fill. Okay. So skew Hermitian matrix means what? A power theta equal to
Minus A.
Minus A.
right Hermitian. So I started the proof with the assumption that A is a skew Hermitian matrix. Therefore, A power theta equal to minus A. Okay. So assume that lambda is an eigenvalue of A. That means what? Ax equal to lambda x for some x not equal to 0. Then multiply, take conjugate transpose on both sides. Ax whole power theta equal to lambda x whole power theta. But Ax whole power theta is x power theta into A power theta equal to lambda bar into x power theta by the property. Now what is A power theta? A power theta is
Minus A.
minus. Now instead of replacing A power theta with A, I have to replace A power theta with minus A. Okay. Now then what happens? This implies that minus x power theta into a equal to lambda bar x power theta. Is that okay? Now what I am going to do? Post multiply both sides with x. When I post multiply both sides with x, what do I get? So I will be erasing the remaining steps. Okay. I will be erasing the remaining steps and see what happens. Okay. So here also I will start this. Okay. So a power theta equal to minus a, which is equal to lambda bar into x power theta. This implies that minus x power theta into a is equal to lambda bar into x power theta. Now post multiply both sides with x. That means minus x power theta into a into x is equal to lambda bar into x power theta into x. So using linearity, what I can write? Minus not linearity, using associative rule I can write it as x power theta into ax equal to lambda bar into x power theta into x. Now what is ax? Ax is
Lambda.
nothing but lambda x, so I can replace ax with lambda x. I can replace so x power theta into lambda x equal to lambda bar into x power theta into x. Okay, now I'll put this in a bracket form. Okay, so I can write this as minus lambda into x power theta into x equal to lambda bar into x power theta into x. Now again I can apply cancellation law. That implies that minus lambda equal to lambda bar, since x not equal to 0 implies x power theta into x not equal to 0. That means what? Lambda plus lambda bar equal to 0. So when this is true, when lambda plus lambda bar equal to 0,
Purely imaginary.
Imaginary or zero?
lambda is 0. If lambda is 0, 0 plus 0 bar is 0. Or what is other case? If you say purely imaginary, imaginary is different from purely imaginary. No, what do you mean by purely imaginary? Real part is 0. Lambda equal to 2i means what is lambda bar? Minus 2i. Sum will be 0. Right? So when the real part is 0, that is not the case if you have a real part. Okay? Non-zero real part. So it has to be 0 or purely imaginary. So what is our statement? What is our hypothesis? The eigenvalues of a skew Hermitian matrix are 0 or purely imaginary. Okay, write down this statement, and if you understand, don't look at the board. Okay, try to prove it on your own. The eigenvalues of a skew Hermitian matrix are 0 or purely imaginary. Shall I proceed? Shall I? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shall we proceed to the next property?
Yes, sir.
Okay, write down. Property number 16. The eigenvalues of a unitary matrix. Eigenvalues of a unitary matrix or of unit modulus. The eigenvalues of unitary matrix are of unit modulus. What do you mean by eigenvalues of unit modulus? Its magnitude is 1. So, how do you denote that mathematically? What is the measure to find the magnitude of a eigenvalue?
Mod lambda.
Modulus lambda. So you have to show that modulus of lambda has to be equal to 1. Remember, lambda is a root of an polynomial equation. Roots of a polynomial equation may be real or complex. Okay, if it is real, something like 2 or something like -2, what is its modulus? 2. If it is 2 plus I, what is its modulus? Root 5. Okay, so you have to show that modulus of the modulus of the eigenvalue is of unit modulus. Okay, so how do we start the proof? Suppose
Consider
A is a unitary matrix. A is a unitary matrix. What do you mean by unitary matrix? What is the property of unitary matrix?
A power theta into A is equals to A into A power theta is equals to I.
I.
Okay. Now what is the next step? Let lambda be an eigenvalue of A. Let lambda be an eigenvalue of A. That means what? Ax equal to lambda x for some x not equal to 0. Can you tell me the next step?
Pre-multiply with A power theta.
Uh,
Pre-multiply with A power theta.
shall I pre-multiply with A power theta or any other suggestion? Okay.
Take on both.
Somebody said,
Take theta on both sides.
that means take conjugate transpose on both sides. Then what do you get? What do you get? X power theta, A power theta. That means x power theta, A power theta is equals to what is this? Lambda bar into x power theta. Right? Then I think here itself we can do it. So x power theta into, so this implies that x power theta, A power theta equal to lambda bar into x power theta. Then what you want me to do?
Post multiply with A.
8.
Then what do you get? So I will be writing whatever you said. Whether we will be successful or not, we will see. Export it. Export it. You are asking me to post multiply post it with a. So I am multiplying lambda bar into export data into a. Then is this possible? Actually, before that we have to check export data. What is order of export data? X is 1 by n. Sorry, x is n by 1. So it has to be 1 by n. Okay, this is possible. I think a is n by n. So multiplication is fine. Then what you want me to do? A power theta into a is I know. Okay. A power theta into a is I know. A power theta into a is I. So that means we can write this as x power theta into I equal to lambda bar into x power theta a. Then what you can do from this?
Multiply by x.
You want me to multiply with x?
Yes.
Okay. Pre multiply or post multiply?
Post multiply, sir.
Then?
Replace ax with lambda x.
Okay. So first of all, it has to be like this. Later, using the associative, I can write ax. Okay. So that's all understood. So x power theta into x equal to lambda bar into x power theta into ax. Now ax is lambda x. So lambda bar into x power theta into lambda x. Fine. Then
We can cancel x for theta x.
so I think so x power theta into x equal to lambda into lambda bar into x power theta into x. Okay, so you can cancel out these two and you can say that mod lambda whole square equal to
1.
so when mod lambda whole square equal to 1, what is mod lambda? 1.
1.
Can you write the last step? Here there is no space. This implies that mod lambda equals to 1. Is that okay? You cannot write mod lambda whole square equal to 1 means mod lambda equal to plus or minus 1. Do you understand why? Modulus is always non-negative. Okay, so write down the proof. Eigenvalues of a unitary matrix are of unit modulus. Did you write the last step? Therefore, mod lambda equal to 1. Therefore, modulus of lambda equal to 1 and hence the eigenvalues of a unitary matrix are of unit modulus. Shall we proceed? Shall I?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, before proceeding further, now can you tell me what could be the eigenvalues of a Real symmetric matrix. What could be the eigenvalues of a real symmetric matrix? Should have given the answer by now. If you are following the classes, if you are revising the notes. What is real symmetric matrix means? Every real symmetric matrix is
Hermitian matrix.
Hermitian. Every real symmetric matrix is Hermitian. And we know eigenvalues of Hermitian matrix are real. Therefore, what will be the real symmetric eigenvalues of a real symmetric matrix?
Real.
Real only. Do you understand? In the same way, what will be the eigenvalues of the eigenvalues of a real skew Hermitian matrix?
Purely imaginary or zero.
Hermitian matrix. Because every skew Hermitian, there is a mistake. Real skew symmetric. Every real symmetric is Hermitian. Every real skew symmetric is skew Hermitian. Similarly, what will be the eigenvalues of a real orthogonal matrix? Eigenvalues of a real orthogonal matrix.
Unitary.
Unit
Modulus.
matrix, because every real orthogonal matrix is nothing but a unitary matrix. Okay, you may write that as a note. Okay, so far we completed 16. Actually, there are 17 if you go through. Okay, so last one I'm just giving it as a statement. Okay, either you take it as a result, or if you want, you can try the proof also. It's simple only, but it's not really required. But very important proof, very important property. Next one, property number 17, very important. Eigenvectors corresponding to the distinct eigenvalues of a matrix, or the eigenvectors corresponding to distinct eigenvalues of a matrix are linearly independent. The eigenvectors corresponding to distinct eigenvalues of a matrix are linearly independent. Okay, so very important property. What do you mean by that? Suppose A is a matrix for which you have two distinct eigenvalues. Let us say lambda 1, lambda 2. Distinct means what? Lambda 1 not equal to lambda 2. And eigenvectors corresponding to distinct eigenvalues. That means, let us say x1 is an eigenvector corresponding to lambda 1. Let us say x2 is an eigenvector corresponding to lambda 2. And what the result says is, these two are linearly independent. What do you mean by linearly independent? They are not dependent. What do you mean by not dependent? Dependent means what? x1 equal to some k times some k times
X2.
x2. That is dependency. Not dependent means like this. You cannot write one vector as a multiple of another vector. Okay, when you have two eigenvectors, sorry, yeah. So when you have two eigenvectors which are corresponding to distinct eigenvalues of a matrix, then those eigenvectors will be linearly independent. Very, very important property. Okay. So with this, all the properties are over. Okay. Shall I prove it? Want me to prove it? Or will you try?
We'll try, sir.
Okay, you just try once. Okay, later. Otherwise, we'll see in one day. Okay. So I just give you only one hint. Okay. Somewhere you need to get a contradiction. Okay, then you can prove the result easily. Okay, there are different ways of proving a mathematical theorem. One of the best ways is the method of contradiction. Okay, what do you mean by method of contradiction? Suppose you want to prove one statement. Okay, then you start the proof by assuming the opposite of that statement. Okay, we want to show something is true, but you start with that is false. Then you keep on writing the steps, you keep on arguing, write the consequences of that your assumption. Okay, somewhere you will get a contradiction. Okay, because of your assumption. Okay, so because you are getting contradiction, that means your assumption must be wrong. So then what is right? Opposite of your assumption. That means whatever the statement is posed. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you just try the method of contradiction to prove this. Okay. So that is the hint for this proof. So these are the properties on eigenvalues and eigenvectors. Okay. So all these properties will give us. There are several other properties are also, but as far as your syllabus is concerned, I think these properties are there. Okay, so eigenvalues and eigenvectors will give us so much information about the matrix A. Okay, and after that we have a theorem. Okay, called write down, all of you write down the next theorem called Cayley-Hamilton theorem. Cayley-Hamilton theorem. Okay, for this proof is not included in your syllabus. Okay, we're going to see only applications of this theorem. First, I will state what is this theorem is all about. Okay, then we will see how to the applications. What the theorem says is, all of you write down. Yeah. Write down the statement. Every square matrix satisfies. Every square matrix satisfies its own characteristic equation. Every square matrix satisfies its own characteristic equation. Okay. So, what do you mean by matrix satisfying its characteristic equation? And what are the applications of this? Okay, let us say A is a 3 by 3 matrix. Don't write, just listen. After writing the statement, just listen to me. Suppose A is a 3 by 3 matrix. What will be the degree of its characteristic equation?
3.
3. Okay, so you will get a third degree polynomial equation, something like after simplification, let us say it may be lambda cube minus 3 lambda square plus 5 lambda plus 7 equal to 0, something like this. You will get a cubic equation in lambda because A is a 3 by 3 matrix. So what do you mean by, so what the Cayley-Hamilton theorem says? A satisfies its characteristic equation. That means what? A cube minus, when you replace lambda with A, the result remains true. A cube minus 3A square plus 5A plus what should I write? 7?
Equal to
5.
0.
Is this plus 7 equal to 0 or anything else is there? 7?
I.
7 I because I'm one means lambda power 0. When I replace lambda with a power 0. What is a power 0? I. Okay, we cannot add a scalar to the matrix, no, so it has to be I, 7I. Okay, so this is what the result says. Okay, so once you have the characteristic equation, then A will satisfy the characteristic equation. So that means you, when A is given, you compute A square, A cube and compute this expression LHS. After simplification, you will notice that the resultant is nothing but a null matrix. That is what the result. Now how the questions will be in exams? You may be asked to verify Cayley-Hamilton theorem, state and verify Cayley-Hamilton theorem for a given matrix. Okay, so when a matrix is given, you make the computations on A square and A cube and take the LHS and show that the simplification is 0 and declare that Cayley-Hamilton theorem is verified. Declare that Cayley-Hamilton theorem is verified. So verification of Cayley-Hamilton theorem is one important problem in the examination point of view. Now, what are the applications of this Cayley-Hamilton theorem? Let us say that A is non-singular. Okay, if A is non-singular, what is its advantage?
That is not 0.
So when that is not 0, which one will exist?
Inverse.
A inverse exists. Right? So if I multiply both sides with A inverse, what do you get? So I'm pre-multiplying both sides with A inverse. Okay. Now what is the resultant? A square minus
3A.
3A plus 5A
5.
plus 7A inverse equal to 0. Now what is A inverse? Minus 1 by 7 times A square minus 3A plus 5I. Is this not useful? Result? Previously, how do you used to compute A inverse? 1 by det A into adjoint A. And this is a tedious process if it is more than 3 by 3 order. Finding adjoint A and determinant also. What is the other method you know? Gauss-Jordan method using only row operations. You remember in intermediate, some matrix is given. You will be writing identity matrix 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. Using row operations only, you convert this matrix into identity matrix. Apply the same row operations to here. Then you will get a resultant matrix, say B. This B is nothing but A inverse. That is Gauss-Jordan method. Okay, so these two are bit tedious procedures. So there is another. What is the other way? The other way is application of Cayley-Hamilton theorem. Okay, you just have to find out A square and simplify this expression. This involves only additions, multiplications. Okay, and you will get A inverse. Do you follow? So what is another application? So one application is finding inverse of a non-singular matrix. Okay. So another application is, let us say A is a 2 by 2 matrix. Let us say A is a 2 by 2 matrix. And what will be the degree of the characteristic equation? 2. So it's something, it can be something like lambda square minus 3 lambda plus 4 equal to 0. So according to Cayley-Hamilton theorem, we have a square minus 3a plus 4i has to be 0. Am I right? So from this, what is a square?
3a minus 4.
So what is the advantage you are seeing here? You are able to decrease the degree. You are able to decrease the degree of a. Okay. Suppose you may have to find out a longer expression like this: a power 6 minus 3a power 5 plus 7a power 4 plus 8a cube plus 9a square plus 13a minus 17i. Something like you have to evaluate. You may have to evaluate this 6th degree matrix polynomial. So instead of finding a power 6, a into a 6 times, what I can do, I can simplify this longer expression. No. How can I simplify this longer expression? I can write this a power 6 as a square whole cube. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Now I can replace a square with 3a minus 4i whole cube. Now what is the degree now after simplification? It has become 6th degree to 3rd degree. Similarly, you can write a power 5 as a power 4 into a. What is a power 4? A square whole square into a. What is the expression for a square in terms of a? A into a square. Again, a square can be written in terms of a into a square. That means after simplification, this will be reduced to a 3rd degree polynomial. Again, this 3rd degree polynomial can be written as a square into a. This a square is nothing but 3a minus 4i. A into a square. Again, a square can be replaced with 3a minus 4i. That means after repeatedly applying the same concept, after repeatedly applying this expression for a square, finally you will arrive to a linear equation of degree 1. Okay, linear equation means linear expression of degree 1. Or linear expression, because linear itself is of degree 1. No? So that means you are able to reduce degree of any degree of a matrix polynomial drastically using Cayley-Hamilton theorem. Can you tell me up to what degree you can reduce? For a 2 by 2 matrix, you can reduce up to 1. For a 3 by 3 matrix,
2.
You can reduce up to 2. For an n by n matrix, you can reduce up to
n minus
M minus
n
1.
minus 1, because you can only get the expression for a power n in terms of a power n minus 1 and so on, right? So if a 3 by 3 matrix is given, you can reduce up to 2 by 2. Okay? If a 4 by 4 matrix is given, you can reduce up to 3rd degree. Is that clear? Okay? So these are the two important applications. One is finding inverse of a matrix, non-singular matrix. Other one is reducing the degree of a matrix polynomial. Reducing the degree of a matrix polynomial. Okay. So in the next class, okay, we'll be doing problems on verification of Cayley-Hamilton theorem. Also, we'll apply Cayley-Hamilton theorem to find an inverse of a given non-singular matrix and to reduce the degree of a given polynomial, matrix polynomial. Is that clear? So, so what you do, you please practice all the 17 properties. Okay, you just go through all the 17 properties. in exams, you may be asked to state and prove some property. So their proofs are also very much important in examination point of view. Once you understand it, you try to reproduce the proof on your own. Unless you do, you don't build the confidence. Okay, so you please practice these properties once again. Okay, and we'll see this Cayley-Hamilton theorem in the next class. Okay.